I'll count down this time. 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Amal, and joining me tonight we have Carl, Mus, Andy, and George, and we are the Monday Blues. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Very
What's
well.
up, boys?
Come on.
Struggling
A good
with
weekend.
my voice.
Soft.
Very, very struggling bad with my voice today.
I think we all are. Now, it's the round 18 game review where the Baggers plug out the power against Port Adelaide FC and on their 13-game winning streak. Fuck, boys, what a win. What a win.
Told yous.
You did, Andy. You did. You called it. And you weren't too far off the margin either, which was even more impressive.
Lambs to the fucking slaughter.
Good call.
Now, we'll start with the first quarter. Because the game was very fast-paced. Like, I haven't seen Carlton play at this pace in a very, very, very long time. Mus, what do you think?
Yeah, it was very quick from get-go, wasn't it? But we come out of the block really, really sharp. I would have liked to have been a bit more, hit the scoreboard a bit better. I think it was 4 points before we kicked the goal.
Yeah.
But, mate, it was amazing just to see how well they gelled real quick. And we said that if we're going to do any damage, we're going to have to come out right from the start. And they did. They did it really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you take it back a notch as well, we were hit with adversity even before the game started, with Matty Owies being coming off the team and Motlop coming on. So there's one player less that would have been in our starting lineup, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. But the game was hotly contested at the start. Off turnovers, each team was moving the ball at a rapid pace, at a really, really fast pace. Andy, what do you think?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little further. Now, it was there was quite a few forward 50 entries in the first quarter, which didn't amount to much. A lot of points, a lot of low percentage shots at goal. George, I think you mentioned that at the game itself as well. Do you want to talk through that for a bit?
Yeah, I think there was it was the turn and go from Charlie twice, and then the Fogarty one as well. But we needed a bit of a circuit breaker, or if I pardon the pun, short circuit for the power. So and I think that was Sauce who kicked the first one. But yeah, all that sort of effort, you wanted to see it rewarded. But what was amazing was the hunger, the intent, the drive that we were all over them. The teamwork was at an elite level. Selflessness, I think what was beautiful, seeing the running and the smart decisions that were made as well. But great to see us eventually capitalise on it. But initially, it had the makings of we turned around to each other and thought, "Geez, this sort of looks like a bit of like the Sydney game all over again," or falling back into that trap of adding pressure on your teammates with kicking more and more behinds. But glad that we broke that pretty quickly.
Yeah, it took us 9 minutes to get the first goal. And Carl, do you want to let us know who the first goal kicker was for the game?
Well, I couldn't make it to the game, unfortunately. I was stuck at work like a peasant. But yeah, I think I've got to apologise to Sauce, to be honest. I feel bad. I feel bad for my comments I've said in the last couple of weeks. Like, I deserve him to punch me. He punched me in the face. I deserve a punch in the face. Sauce, you're a champ. First goal scorer. Absolute dominated.
Yeah, absolutely. He did. He had a ripper game, and it wasn't just the first goal; it was the second goal as well. A couple of minutes later, Voss had a fantastic first quarter, and those two goals, it wasn't the right amount of reward for effort, I don't think, for what the Blues put together in the first quarter, but it was enough to get the Blues going, because it wasn't long after that Port got themselves on the scoreboard and started to put some pressure on. It was probably the second half of the first quarter. Port started to even out the stoppages.
Yeah, I think it was right after McKay went down, where I think we had to restructure a bit. So
Yep.
I think we let a couple of goals slip, but after quarter time, I think we came back into the game and bang, started dominating again.
Yeah, look, I don't know about you, guys, but that first quarter, I was a nervous wreck. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to act. I think I was screaming at absolutely everything that was happening on the ground. And then when Harry Mackay went down, geez, I thought. And then when at the same time, Port Adelaide started to get their hands on the ball a bit more often and were distributing it out a lot more cleaner than what they were in the first half of that quarter. It was like, oh crap, Harry Mackay's gone down. It felt like Carlton lost a bit of its structure and a bit of its confidence with Mackay going down into the race. Did you feel that as well, Moss?
Yeah, absolutely. We're sort of looking at each other going, well, what happens here? It's good that TDK's in, but the momentum did shift. I think that they felt it on the ground because Harry's such a key player in our structure and our ball movement, pushing forward, coming out of the back line, He presents well, and he's been doing all those little things all year, He's been that target. He moves the ball well. People get around him, and he's been doing a lot of the 1%ers as well. So we definitely did miss that, absolutely. And it was about a 5 to 10 minute period where it was like, what is going to happen here? Where are we going to go? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
On that, in previous years, boys, I reckon if it was a previous year's different squad from the one we have now, the players, I think, would have joined the fans in, thinking, shit, it's over. Hands in heads and, how are we going to come back from this? But not with this team, So Sauce stepped up to Carl's point, in his absence. So needs to be applauded for that performance because a few weeks in a row now he's operating at an elite level. So it was all like initially we looked at each other and because of that doubt, like, geez, we're just losing a key player. Kudos to the players, didn't go into their shell. You got Sauce or TDK to maybe stretch them, and Sauce done that job. So glad that they were resilient.
Yeah. Now, just on Harry Mackay. Now, his first half of the season, I'll be the first person to put my hand up and say that I probably focused a bit too much on his goal kicking, and let that dictate, I guess, how I viewed him as a player. But Andy, do you want to talk us through what you've been able to see in Harry Mackay's season so far? Because I think you were able to look at it at a bit more of a holistic perspective, and you really brought some things to light to me that were probably overshadowed by his inability in front of goal.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you.
It was evident as soon as Harry Mackay came off the ground, Port turned it up. They really turned it up. Their pressure factor, I think, in the first 10 minutes of the match was sitting at around 137. And then after Jack Silvani's goal and Harry Mackay's subbing off for injury, they applied a pressure rating of 260.
Well,
Enter Jesse Motlop, who won a massive one-on-one contest at the 20-minute mark of the first quarter. He didn't mark it, but he did enough to earn the free kick, and it definitely was a free kick. He got the goal. He got the goal and settled whatever nerves we had at that point. Now, to Power's credit, they still kept the pressure on. And they kicked the goal at the 24-minute mark. But that I think that was a really, really critical goal as far as that game was concerned, because I think that settled some nerves and let Carlton sort of just take a breather, because Port were hot in that second half of that first quarter.
Great. I think you need to ice them, like, as a small forward, right? You need to take your chances. That was the first of a few for Jesse, obviously coming in as a layered in. But yeah, you might only get 2 or 3 chances a game, so you need to ice them. But the fact that he put himself in a great position to get the free, almost the mark, but to ice it as well, and then that started a bit of a run for him. But yeah, that was got to take your chances, and he did.
Yeah.
I just think I'm just going to step in here and say, for all those Carlton supporters that were there, that first and second quarter, whenever Port Adelaide got a chance, that crowd was pivotal to making sure that whoever was lining up for a goal, and I think a couple of times it was Ollie Lord, and mate, I don't know what happened, but you could just see it. The crowd was just going ballistic, and they were putting him off. I think he kicked 2, didn't even make a distance, and 2 points as well. It was at a crucial time, and they missed so many in front of goal. And I'll just put that down to, obviously, I don't know, the crowd. I felt like got him over the line at those times, just to sort of miss. It was, I don't know, maybe where we were sitting, but it kind of felt like it was all over the ground. I don't know if anyone else noticed that.
Good call.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, the crowd is so pivotal to each and every game that the boys play. The amount of pressure that we are able to heap onto the opposition, and the amount of confidence that us as supporters can give to the players, each and every play is unprofound. It is so important. It is so important. So very, very important to call that out. Now we'll jump into the second quarter, because this second quarter was as impressive as I've ever seen from the Baggers ever. Jesse Motlop, Jack Martin, Jesse Motlop, 4 goals in a row within 4 minutes. We were going at a minute a goal, and it was the most simplest form of attacking footy that the Baggers have put together all season, and probably in the last decade. Win the clearance, get it into your forward line. We had one tall forward in Charlie Kerno, and all his job was to do was to get it to the ground, and our small forwards were front and centre for the crumb, and were slotting them, were just putting them away.
Charlie was so pivotal,
Oh.
honestly. Like, I mean, his touches didn't really, they don't explain just how important he was to getting us back on track. Because, like you said before, Mackay goes down, Charlie's role switches totally.
Yeah.
He runs up the ground. He was marking it at half back. And then, he turned around and he's got no one to kick to. Like, you know what I mean? But then TDK stepped up. And obviously Jack stepped up. But watching Motlop and Jack Martin do their thing, man, reminded me of the glory days of Yaron, Betts, and Garlett.
3 amigos.
Yeah. It's just, man.
I don't know about glory days, but
Hey, man. Hey, we won a final.
yeah, we did. That moment, it's got to live forever in your head, right? It's an amigo that's going to kick it.
Yeah.
Go on, Jeffrey.
Kick it. Yeah.
Look,
Go, George.
you go, Carl. You go.
No, just saying back to Marl's point with the small forwards. I don't think they've ever gelled like that. I can't even remember since when, maybe since the 3 Amigos, but to Fogarty's pressure, the way he tackles, does not slip the tackle. Once he grabs you, you're gone. See you later. He's been great inclusion to us.
Yeah.
And the tackling across the board from everyone was
pressure
ruthless. Remember last week in the Freo review, I said we were nasty. We brought that. We brought that to this game.
Yeah.
We're playing like we've got a chip on our shoulders. And, man, I love it.
They know we're coming.
Fuck, how good is it to see, opposition players not just running through tackles like they were, a month or so ago. They were just walking through tackles.
We were dumping Rosie, we were dumping Butters. You know what was fantastic, right? Now Sam Powell-Pepper, explosive player, breaks through packs, usually has been pivotal for them this year anyway for Port, right? We didn't let him get an inch. Like, if you notice, watching the replay after I went home, every time he got near the ball or tried to get it, we were hot on his tail. Like, he was closed down at every single opportunity. I think they held him to a goal. But love that. Love the intensity. And across the forward line as well. Like, I was talking about the work that was done in the second quarter. Charlie was understated by Kane Corns, who said, he had not the best game. go on to other platforms. I think Gary Lyon was saying, guys, this is about as good as a forwards game you can get, and then he's getting rewards at the end for it. We'll talk about the fourth quarter and whatnot, but if he wasn't marking it, he was bringing it to ground with the soft touches. He was making a contest, mate. He had Aaliyah squared covered.
Did Kane Corn say that?
He did. He said he hasn't had the best. He's done okay on Aaliyah, but he hasn't had the best game, mate. Watch it back. Like, what else? This man has sacrificed his own game now after Harry's obviously been injured, for the betterment of the team, and he's killed it. He's brought the small forwards into the game. We're talking about Motlop and obviously brought Jack into the game, but mate, Kennedy. Cunningham. We did see Kennedy before the game. That was nice. But Cunningham, Martin, so bringing everyone into the game was fantastic. So it can't be understated how pivotal he was, even though he didn't hit the scoreboard until a bit later. Fantastic.
Kane Corns is a fucking spastic, man, straight out. What an idiot.
The bloke's got no idea.
I'm certain he just says things for the banter.
Absolutely.
For the clicks.
Yeah, it's just he just says things.
He says it for the clicks.
We're
That's what he
talking
does.
about him now. So
ruffle
there you go.
Jimmies. Exactly right. Exactly. Kane Corns, if you're watching, you're a flog.
But quickly back to
And you're shaped like a bobblehead.
Quickly back to what George was saying about Pal Pepper. I just want to say quickly, Adam Saad gave him a nice bath in a tub of hummus, a nice bath. Bathed him in hummus.
Hey, Pal Pepper is like the best
He should
useless
play
player
for St
in the
Kilda.
league. Like I look at him and I'm just like, bro, what are you? Like who? Like I don't know, man.
Who are you?
I just get weird vibes off him. Like you're not a good player, but you're not bad. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Can I just say at gather round, me and Andy was sitting on these lawn chairs, and half of the Port Adelaide squad walked past us, and Pal Pepper literally stood right next to my lawn chair. I think he was with a family friend or whatever. He was holding a baby. And then I sort of, because I just know how much Andy loves Sam Pal Pepper, right? So I sort of nudged Andy, and he literally looked up, and he was like, I'm talking he's 2 meters from us. And he just looked up, and he's like, oh, fuck. It's like he was thinking, do I need to go this bloke? I just can't stand him.
Yeah, he's no. I don't know. He's so bad that he's kind of good.
No, I like him, man. I just got a little soft spot for him. I love the way he breaks out of packs and impact. He's playing. He's got this impact where he only needs 10 touches. He'll break.
That's the thing. That's what I mean, bro. He'll do nothing for 3.5 quarters, and you'll think, "What a dud! How's he in the AFL?" And then he'll just pull a mad goal out of nowhere from 55 meters out backwards, backhill. He just does the most random things. He's a random player. I don't know.
Now, after we sort of got on that 4-goal run, it was actually 5-goal run. Port Adelaide did peg one back, but then it became an arm wrestle. And again, Port Adelaide started to put numbers into the stoppages. They were outnumbering us clearly because they started to win every single stoppage in the back half of the second quarter. And again, it ended up being it was over 30 points at the half. And I don't know about you guys, but I felt uncomfortable with that lead. I think Andy, you and I were talking about it. We came up after we went and got some food, went into the Quill room with the Legend Lounge and everything like that. And we came back up and we're like, I'm fucking more stressed and nervous than I was before the game.
And we're 5 goals up.
Yeah. And it was only because that Port Adelaide were able to, they have this amazing ability to, with the flick of a switch, just amp up the pressure.
Yeah,
I'm using puns here. I love it. It's so cool. But yeah, they're just able to just go bang, and they did it so with such ease. And I'd love to see a Carlton that one day be able to do that as well. But that was
hard to do, bro.
I haven't seen them increase it. I haven't seen them do that just yet. Not the way that Port do, because the way they do it is unbelievable.
Yeah, they're like a wave of just momentum and
I think there was
pressure.
bits. There was definitely bits within that game. Absolutely, though.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the third quarter. The third quarter was a real arm wrestle. It was goal to Port, goal to Carlton, goal to Port, goal to Carlton. Carl, you obviously didn't attend the game, but how did the third quarter look from the big screen?
I was ready to fight a kid. I'm not going to lie, my kid's running up and down the hallway. I was ready. I was going to fight a kid. It was honestly. It was an arm wrestle, goal for goal. My cousin messaged me of the last 5 minutes of the game. And this was like, yeah, we might win. I'm like, Mike, I'm still nervous. It's 5 minutes to go. This is Carlton we're talking about. Just calm down. Obviously won, but yeah, it was,
Never in doubt, boys.
I've watched
Never in
the
doubt.
game about 8 times already, I'm not going to lie. Spewing, I couldn't go. Spewing.
Hey, honestly, I walked into this game so confident. I was like, nah, we're going to smash them. And I'm kind of shattered we didn't hit 10 goals because I think we could have. And I think if Harry stays in, I mean, ifs and buts, but yeah, I was kind of shattered we didn't hit 10 goals because I really wanted to put our foot on their throats, send them back to Adelaide.
Delayed.
You know?
Still.
Adelaide?
I love it. It's like, let's just get, 2 or 3 weeks ago, wouldn't we dream about beating Port Adelaide? Yeah, like that's one of the scalps. And it's like, nah, they were disappointed it wasn't by 10 goals now. What I will say, what's been fantastic is that in that bleak 6-week run, whatever you want to call it, right? Our average score, total score for the game, is pretty much now our average winning margin.
Yep.
Really, when you think about it.
Yep. It's crazy.
We were cracking 50. We struggled to get 60, but that's our winning margin now for the last 4 games, which I think I saw a stat where it's like the first time in 56 years we've beaten teams 4 weeks in a row by over 50 points.
You know, if I was given the opportunity to speak to any person, living or dead, I would choose Michael Voss and I'd ask him, what the fuck did you say at quarter time against Gold Coast?
I thought you were going to say it, Colonel.
Yeah. No, but seriously, like what was said? Because the switch just
instant.
It was just on.
Yeah.
And then like something had to have changed at quarter time of that game.
Yeah.
Let there be light.
Do you reckon?
Literally.
Do you reckon Michael Voss promised the players ice cream cones after the game if they won?
It's possible.
Probably showed him a snippet of the our Essendon review.
We'll go with that. I like it.
Yeah, let's go with that one. That's a good one.
And I'm angry. Hey, we were so cut back. And we had every right to be.
100% we did.
They owe us.
100% we did.
They owe.
Carlton as a footy club fucked up on so many levels that day. It's not even funny.
That third quarter, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
Let's not get back. This is a
We don't
positive
even.
week.
No. This is 100% a positive week, and we lost the third quarter, 4 goals to 5.
This week.
No. Sorry, we lost the third quarter against Port by a couple of points. It was a real arm struggle. Arm wrestle.
I think we were even, weren't we?
It was even. I know because
was
from what I saw, we didn't lose a quarter all game.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up.
Come on,
Yeah,
Amar.
5-2 to 5-2. It was even.
There you go.
Look, it was definitely
Come on,
a shootout in the
As
third.
arm struggle as it gets. 100%. Yeah, it was. If we look at the timeline for the third quarter, it was goal, Carlton, 2 goals to Port, goal to Carlton, 2 goals to Port, goal to Carlton, goal to Port.
Yeah, they got one late, real late.
They got one late,
Yeah, which was annoying.
I prayed at 3/4 time.
I remember that.
I literally prayed. This
guy,
just keep going, man.
It was
Keep going.
after Jed McEntee or whatever the bloke's name is kicked the goal. And then I think Silvani got a free kick, or I can't remember what it was. So I think it was Silvani got the free kick after tackling Lysett in the ruck contest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's like, who was it? I'm like, oh, Silvani. And he didn't respond. So I looked at him, and he's like,
He's got a miss.
Because we got PTSD from Silvani in that pocket,
Oh.
in that against the St Kilda game. So
the bloke was in cold sweats.
Never in doubt.
He did miss one though, didn't he? Same sort of position. I think was it the first?
Yeah.
Or second?
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did. Yeah.
Oh,
You know
man.
what? Let's not focus on the negatives. We fucking smashed Port, and the Blues are back.
We did. We
Heads off,
absolutely
baby.
did.
Blues are back.
And then, fourth quarter, Lockie Fogarty at 2 minutes, Charlie Curnow at 6, Nick Newman. What a game he had,
yeah.
Nick Newman.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by Charlie Curnow. And then even the captain got involved with 3 behinds.
Do you
It was fantastic.
know what I want to see? Well, I want to see Paddy Cripps have his cake, but then
Kick a
also
goal. Yeah,
fucking eat it.
100%.
Seriously. That's the one part of his game that really lets him down. Week in, week out.
Yeah.
I will just love to see it.
He really threatened it. Like, and Charlie missed a couple of set shots, like right at the end, but Cripps really threatened it with those runs inside 50 and the 2 behinds. There was the helicopter kick, and then there was the
Helicopter.
Hey, Andy, that was Moose. Was Moose upset at the game? Or was he all right this time?
Moose was doing these ones. We were up by 8 goals.
Looking back, we did keep him at arm's length, and we did it on the ground, which was good. But yeah, definitely that whole, in the back of your mind, you're going, fuck. And Teague days just keep coming back. Fuck, we can cop 6 goals in 6 goals in a couple of seconds, yeah? So, I don't know.
Haunted.
Hey, but how good was it that we got 30 points up and we didn't let them in within 30 points for the
Massive.
rest of the game?
For the rest of the game.
ultimate
That's
team
so-
performance.
Yeah,
Ultimate
bro.
team performance.
And how good were the stats? Seeing a couple of Port guys get 30, 40 touches, whatever they had.
Yeah.
Well, every
And
player
George's
played
point-
for the
Sorry,
team and
George.
rather than themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to George's point, it was probably the purest team performance that we have seen from the Baggers. Now, if we look at the team stats, put aside Dan Houston, I don't know what the guy bought his own ball, 41 disposals, and I think he went at above 80% disposal efficiency. Absolutely crazy. Well done, Dan Houston, freak of a player. But your disposal
But he
is
still
nothing
lost.
against the powerhouse that is Carlton.
Should have had Ed
Right?
Curnow
You
to
could
tag
get
him.
60. Nothing.
They did nothing with him anyway. They did his breath.
But our highest disposal winner was Sam Doherty with 26, right? And the least was Harry McKay, but obviously he came off late. But Jack Martin had 9.
Sack him.
In.
Some guy.
It was a pure team performance by everyone. By
Some
absolutely
guy on
everyone.
Facebook posted like, "Oh, what did everyone think of the game?" And he brought up some negatives or whatever. I'm like, "Yeah, I hated it. Harry didn't get enough of the ball. Should be dropped next week or something like that." And this guy responded to me. Like, I think he thought I was serious. Like, I don't know if you watched the game, but we have some dumb supporters, man. I swear, man, we've got some supporters that should not be able to have a login to Facebook. Just not.
They're probably Collingwood supporters.
Fair.
Probably.
Fair.
Honestly, yeah. Should have checked his feet.
Literally, that's the only literally the only negative you can pinpoint from the game was the injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was.
And
What
there was
happened
a
to
few-
Chera?
I don't think anything was wrong with him.
No, he just had a
Apparently-
knockdown. Just had a
Yeah,
knockdown.
no. According to the stats,
And McGovern.
it says
they-
and McGovern. They said they were subbed out.
No, his hair
Yeah, I
started
don't know if that
growing
was a
a bit,
mistake.
cuz, and then he forgot to clipper it before the game.
Oh, he's got to shave it. He's got to shave it. Yeah, that's what it was. All right.
Can I just say that the two, like we just spoke a bit about a negative, but the best positives that came out of today, so many things that came out positive, but the main two things for me, right, is the how many times we caught them flat-footed, the closing speed of your Kemp, your McGovern, your Chincotta with the fist over the top. So many times that they were just flat-footed, waiting for the footy. They didn't attack it, and McGovern closed down, Kemp closed down, Chincotta closed down. And Walsh and Akers, even though Akers, your boy, was 24 touches, 10 turnovers. Check
Blakers.
actual stat, yeah. 40% of his disposals were turnovers, but the way they broke away from the packs, composed, like they didn't rush it, they didn't bomb it out, they didn't, just go for the blind handball. They actually got the ball, maybe one or two Lynn Campbells, but Walsh especially was just running out of packs, finding the kick, finding the target, lowering his eyes. He was fantastic, getting the over-the-top handball. So that and those closing fists were, great. Oh, sorry, I forgot the biggest one. Smothers. How many smothers did we have?
Yeah.
Chris was huge.
That's a really, really good question.
Smothers everywhere, impacting, even them trying to, in the field of play, like to go out of bounds. I think we had about 6 or 7 from my count. I can't remember, but it was fantastic. So, and that's what made the crowd just G up even more. We were talking about the crowd noise earlier. Unbelievable.
Yeah. We'll talk a bit more about the crowd noise in a sec, but what have we talked about? We just talked about, I've completely forgotten.
The third. Or the fourth?
That was the third. That was the third.
No. We finished the fourth. Oh, we were talking about the team stats. The player stats and how even it was across the ground. Like our best was not so far from our worst player on the list. Now, one other topic of conversation that will likely come out of this through the week is that Port weren't at their full strength list and this and that, and they had 7 outs. And well, here's my take on this, right? And tell me what you guys think. And for everyone that's listening and watching, I want to hear what you guys have to say as well, because Port would have known about all their injuries and their outs much earlier than what Carlton did, right? Carlton had always go out before the game. Motlop was probably half drunk because he probably didn't think he was playing. And I think Voss, it almost slipped out of Voss's mouth at halftime. Go watch it. Go watch it on Fox Footy. They were interviewing Voss at the halftime break, and as he's walking down the race, he said, I said to Motlop, I hope he hasn't had too many. I hope he didn't have that meat pie before the game, right? And then to have Harry Mackay, who's one of the most important players on our list, go off 8 minutes into the first quarter, and we didn't have a sub for that. We didn't have a direct replacement for that. The replacement that came in was Paddy Dow. So then there needs to be major shifts in your forward line, in your midfield. Players need to change their roles, take on a different role than what they've been training for all week, right? That is more disruptive than what 7 players going out of your team would be, and you knowing about it days in advance. Challenge me.
100%.
So fuck you, Port.
No, not just the Port. Like anyone who says, they beat an undermanned Port. Just shut up.
Supporters.
No, they're just hating.
These are the same people. These are the same people, I guarantee you, I put my life on it, that if we had have lost, they would have been like, look at these guys. Can't even beat a Port B team. They would have said, they would have flipped the switch and said the same thing. So, as good as Jason Horn-Francis and Dixon are they worth 50 points just alone? Are they worth are they going to give you that difference in that kind of game? The way we played, doesn't matter who their wins were. I don't think we were gonna give it up. So yeah.
I said this last week. I don't care who was in. I don't care who was out for Port. We were always going to smash them. Always. Weeders will put it all over Dixon. So man. They had no hope against us. And it showed. Honestly, we bullied them. Same thing we did to Freo. We just bullied them. So, yeah. And it helped us, I think. Their ball movement. I think you said it, George. We caught them flat-footed a few times. Their ball movement going forward just right into our hands. Because it was slow. There was not really much method behind it. I don't know, it clearly wasn't designed because that's not Port. But it just played right into our hands and we fucking killed them from defence.
And it could have been worse. You saw the end. I think they rested Rosie, they rested Butters. Cripps had 2 behinds at the end. Kerner did as well. Yep. Akers had the one on the full. That's when I lost it. I said, mate, read the room. Read the room, Akers.
Everyone's kicking goals except you.
We're lucky.
Blocky.
Great performance. Yeah.
It was
on that as well. Like watch any of those games during our losing run. That 6-week period or whatever it was, and Like, how on earth that is the same team? And to Andy's point about what was said at quarter time versus Gold Coast is question for the ages. But how that is the same team is beyond me, because it's not even the play style, it's the pace. Like, you look fast when you move the ball fast. But watching those games back, or some of the highlights, like, yeah, it's doesn't even look like the same team.
It just took a good little patch, George. I mean, it was a quarter, and it was that second quarter when they came out against Gold Coast. I just think that it's not the same team, though. That's the thing, right? You got Fogarty,
personnel,
you got Cunners, you got a better Cotters in the team. You got Martin, you got Kemp and Boyd, and they found their feet. Kemp and Boyd have found their position, and what's the other one? Defender Ricotta. What's his they found their positions. I think it just needed to take a bit of time, and maybe Voss was right. Trust the process, I don't know. That's all I've got.
Trust nothing, man. Trust nothing, bro. These blokes were kicking sideways and backwards. They're not playing like that now. So there would have been a directive to do that, and that directive changed. Because you can't go from...
Well, you can.
80% of your kicks going sideways to just all of a sudden we're taking that risk through the middle. We're running off halfback. Anyway. Bro, it literally happened.
Yeah.
But that first quarter against Gold Coast, I was like, "Oh,
here we go again."
Yeah, that was ugly.
And then we just changed in the second quarter. It was different, and we haven't looked back since.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the personnel, though, does make an impact, I think, in the forward 50, because where we're talking about play style, we're also talking about conversion and getting better chances. So,
yeah,
you look at Cottrell wing high half forward. I think he covered almost 17 kilometres. Like, he was running, I think, which is like he's going to get to Tom Scully numbers. Like, the guy was just hitting PBs. Cunningham and Martin, to add them to the mix, like, they don't need to get a lot of it, but they've got that poise, they've got that pizzazz. They hurt you in the 450 with their high footy IQ, where they get it, how they dispose of it. So we're getting better looks at it. And then I think as well, again, not to pick on Young, but having him sort of swapped in for Kemp, and we got Chincotta and Boyd running off, losing that one sort of extra. Well, Kemp's pretty tall as well, but losing Young there give us a bit more pace. Obviously, Kemp's got much more faster closing speed, I feel like. So a bit more mobile, a bit more agile. But yeah, to Andy's point as well, the directive immediately changed.
Yeah, something had to have been said, and like Andy said, you would pay $1 million to hear what was said at that quarter time, because there was an immediate difference. It wasn't a change that came over weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And we talked about this in the Gold Coast review. We said, how is it possible for a team to change so drastically, so suddenly?
Yeah.
And we haven't looked back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, you can't say we were building to that, because we were so far away from that.
But sometimes
style.
it's just that I'm not going to be devil's advocate here, or anything like that. But I'm just saying sometimes it's just that little click, and that little. It could be Cunningham. It could be just the forward line pressure, and it filtered its way back. I don't know. Fogarty. It could just be Fogarty sticking tackles and locking the ball in, so the ball does not come out. Once it's in there, it's in. I don't know.
The only reason I disagree with that is because it's game plan. We stopped going sideways. Like, we literally stopped going sideways and backwards and handballing and not running to just
confidence.
Run. Did he just say to him, all right, fuck it. Just do it. Just do whatever you want.
I mean, the players said, hey, well, let's play this season in hard mode. You want to give them a head start? And they're like, quarter time, they're like, you know what? You want to give it a crack? Yeah, let's give it a crack, boys.
Well, maybe the thing was, he said next goal wins, and I was like, all right, Matt, let's just kick a goal, and then it's gone on from there.
That was it. Yeah, that's the way we play. Running out of defense a lot of the times now, we play like it's last goal wins.
Yeah.
We just run and we hit that target. Like, there's no hesitation to go to the middle, and it's just so good to see, because we know, and I've said this 100 times. This is what we know we could do. This is why we were so angry. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Now,
West Coast.
We do have West Coast, but before we jump into that, now it was a 50-point win, right? But look at this. Let's go through the team stats. and tell me if you didn't know what the score was. Tell me what you would think of this match just looking at the team stats, right? Disposals, pretty much even. Kicks, pretty much even. We're talking 3 or 4 each way. Handballs, Port got us by 13. Inside 50s, Port had 62, we had 59. Free kicks, 18 to Carlton, 15 to Port. Stoppages, 40. Hitouts. Hitouts were 44 to 32 for Carlton. Clearances, we lost the clearances by 1. We lost centre clearances by 2. We won stoppage clearances by 1. Contested possessions, pretty much even. Uncontested, pretty much even. They had a few more turnovers than us. Marks, were pretty much even. Marks inside 50, we had 3 more than them. We had 8 more contested marks. But the difference when it came to scoring was we had 18 goals and they had 10. If you didn't know what the scoring was, if you didn't know what the end result was, anyone would say that this was a bloody tight game.
Thriller. Yeah.
Pressure game
Yeah.
on.
Exactly.
Pressure.
This is it's like the St Kilda game and the Brisbane game where we were dominating the stats and we weren't getting the win. So it's almost like the opposite of that. So
Carbon
for me,
copy.
the hitouts, and we're a team that probably don't really win the hitout game too often. So hey, credit to Tom DeConnick. You know, in the words of Mike Tyson, sign the contract, big boy, sign the contract. But I forgot to put the lisp there. Sorry, but hey, inside 50s, 59 to 62. What do we have? 32 scoring scores, so 18 goals, 14 behinds from 59 inside 50s. So running at over 50%, and they had 22, so 10 goals, 12 from 62. So we took our chances. We didn't need that many disposals to get impact and scores. We didn't need that many entries to make them hurt. We did it. We didn't need repeat entries, and it felt like a game that was so rare to watch because we've just been to games time and time again where we're working so hard to get a goal, and that's purely because we're just going down the line and just hope that Sauce or Mackay or Kurno gets it, and then just go down the line again and hope that we get another one, mate. We didn't have to work that hard for it. Charlie, as I said, Charlie was holding Elias squared with one hand, you know, tapping it down to Mott's. Here you go, mate, on a platter for you. Love it.
That was
Fucking
good.
bring on West Coast, man.
But that's what they're doing differently now. They're not just bombing it in. They're more composed with the ball. They don't just bomb it. They look for like the quick handball or something. And, you know, like there was I think it was Cunningham where he ran down the forward where he didn't rush it. And I think Fogarty in the last took that mark. So we haven't been doing that. That's what's changed.
It's amazing what a bit of composure does.
Yeah. Oh, that moment where Fogarty kicked the goal, but you know when him and Cottrell were both going for it.
Yeah.
Like, I just had that PTSD from the Essendon game.
They're going to leave it alone.
Yeah, I'm like, they're either going to leave it alone, or they're gonna crash and impact each other. But hey, all
That's
credit.
the moment. That's the moment when I lost it at that game, and the old lady threatened to call the fucking number.
Antisocial line.
Antisocial.
Well, it's clear that there's belief back in this team, and they're working for each other now.
Yeah.
So, which we've never seen.
How do we feel about Voss?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, right? Because I can't remember if it was the Hawthorn game or the Fremantle game, but he mentioned in his post-game presser that he had simplified the game plan. And that was the reason why.
That's what Andy said. Go out there and just have fun, boys.
Well, if that's the case, right? I think Voss very well may have overcoached our list and the game plan and tried way too hard to bring in a far too complex game plan. Because it was in his own words, I simplified the game plan, and this is the reason why Carlton have been able to play the way they've been playing lately. What were you trying to? What were you trying to introduce Pythagoras' theorem into fucking footy into the game plan?
It looked horrid.
Whatever it was.
The
It was
game
disgusting.
plan was horrid. Horrid. Just no speed, no dare, no flair, just handball. and go backwards,
Kick it on the full.
then turn it over on the wing.
The
and,
flat hand.
yeah.
When was the
Literally.
last time? When was the last time we marked a ball, stopped, assessed, looked around, who's on, who's off, who's got someone on them? I can't remember the last time we did it. In the last 4 games, it has been get it and go, get it and go. That's it.
Yeah.
It's been
That's the
absolutely
thing.
insane.
Like, we're just taking the game on.
Yeah.
And that's what we weren't doing. And teams were just sitting back waiting for us to screw up. And we did.
And how quickly it's forgotten from mainly Carlton supporters, right? And this is going back to your point, Andy, about Carlton supporters and short term memory. But it's not saying, oh, look at you guys, now that we're winning, you're saying Voss is doing great things. No, like I don't think what happened should be excused and ignored, right? So a large portion of the season, we played and continued to play in a manner that was like no identity, and it cost us games. So at the end of the day, I think it's valid. Like the criticism is valid. I think he needed to hear this, the coaching team, the heat that was coming down on him and the players and whatnot as well. I think it's valid. But you're seeing now that, from the simplification of a game plan now and changing it up almost instantly, results are coming. So it's not a matter of, oh, no, we were calling for him to be sacked or anything like that. We're calling for a change. We're calling for, hey, is there a plan B? Because what's happening now on a stretch of 5 or 6 weeks, we're doing the same thing again and nothing's changing. Something needs to give.
Well, on your point, George, we've now put ourselves in a position again where we're relying on other teams. We're relying on other results. So it's not just in our hands
I hate
anymore.
that so much.
And
Yeah,
that's the scariest part, man.
we love doing that.
So, yeah, I don't know.
To our point, and I think a few guys said it last week, the week before, just focus on every single week that comes and just keep winning, because other teams will bring it. Other teams will obviously not worry about us. They're going to worry about winning as well. So for us, 1 week at a time, yes, we got Collingwood in 2 weeks. That's going to be a huge test. Let's just focus on West Coast. Let's get that win, bank it, try and stay fresh in the legs, try and, hey, I'm not calling for resting, a few players, but hey, if there's a few niggles and players that need rest, maybe now's the week. You look at what Port and Collingwood done this week before having a big game next week as well. So, because, hey, if we can get a scalp like that as well, July 28, can't wait for that. But yeah, I think next week, again, focus on West Coast. It's over here. Try and minimize any damage, to the injury list as well. Get the 4 points because we have a healthy percentage. Obviously, the draw works in our favor. There are a few teams around us that have also had draws as well. But you don't want it to hit the last round. And I think at the Carlton Collingwood game, there was the Doggies game. Can't remember who they were playing, but the Doggies Hawthorn or something like that. And we were looking at that scoreboard as well. You don't want that. You don't want that. You want to be the masters of your own destiny.
Do you reckon what caused Voss to change, or whatever he's changed, was outside noise, or do you reckon it became more about losing his job?
Has to be both.
I think there had to be. There has to be an element of pressure internally. There has to be, because there is no way with the list that we have that the results that we yielded at that time were acceptable.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We watched our videos. Yeah,
that's why I said both.
There's no way.
Look,
just quickly,
very good question. Yeah,
as the clock strikes past midnight, I believe we have a birthday boy.
We do have a birthday boy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
I just want Carlton to make finals.
Happy birthday, Moss.
You old fuck.
Happy birthday, bro. Love you, bro.
Happy birthday, brother. Love you, mate.
It was TDK's birthday yesterday as well.
On your shoulder, but
this
on your shoulder.
This one.
That one.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, quite a few contract decisions will need to be made by the end of this season. One no bigger than TDK, and another one that I think made a very, very strong case on the weekend in Jack Silvani.
Did he ever?
Sign him. Sign him.
I think they're going to sign him both this week or next week.
Make it happen. I don't care
Yeah.
how much. Whatever they want, give it to them. However long they want, give it to them.
I'm a gambling man,
Gamble
as
responsibly.
I say it every week. I've got a sneaky suspicion they're going to announce that both of them are signed over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, I've got
What about
sneaky
his mattress? Are they signing that as well? Yeah.
Jack. Yeah, it's on a 5-year deal.
Sponsored by Captain Snooze.
That's going in the Icon Park Museum.
100%.
Has to. But Jack Silvani had a career game, 4 goals. He had something stupid like 19 or 18 disposals to go along with those 4 goals.
Thanks to us again.
19 disposals. He went at 78% efficiency. He had 11 score involvements with 4 goals.
Insane.
Like,
Can I tell you what my favourite moment of Jack's was? It wasn't any of his goals. It was at the end of the third quarter when I think Finn Layson,
We
I
marked
think
right
it
in front
was
of
Finn
goals.
Layson, he snapped it and Jack was right on the goal
Yes.
line.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't even going in, but
But
the
it's
fact
there.
that he made that trip from down forward and thought, you know what, I'm standing on that line.
And he was the only one. He was
Mate.
actually the only one. I remember that moment.
We lost
So-
the game like that a couple of years ago, if you remember, against Gold Coast.
Yeah, McGovern.
Yeah.
McGovern was about 7 or 8 meters away from the goal line.
Braden.
But that's the thing with
$800,000
that's the
a
thing
year.
with Jack. It's those 1%ers that we've always been so fond of, but haven't sort of got him over the line until the last couple of weeks. So
We'll hope he keeps building on it.
Everyone must be watching this, man, because all of a sudden everyone's playing good, coaching good. What's going on, man?
listening to the Monday Blues
Give
is
us
what's
a shout
happening.
out, you peasants.
and shout out to all the fans, and we had done a little bit of Curious George street talk, and all the fans that came up to us during the game as well that do listen to us. Thank you for the love and the call outs during and before and after the game.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Keep
let
looking for
us
every week.
let us know in the comments if you want to see a bit more of that, because we'd love to start meeting more of you. So if you guys are keen to see a bit more of Curious George on the streets before and after the game, then let us know. Let us know. Let's go around the grounds and do the 1 vote, 2 votes, 3 votes. Carl, we'll kick it off with you.
Oh, great win, by the way. 1 vote, P. Cripps had a solid game. 1 goal. Probably should have been, I'd say 3 goals he should have kicked. He was massive for us. Won a lot of the ball. Probably the first smother he's ever done in his career, to be honest. Never seen one of those, and resulted in a goal in the end. So he gets my 1 vote. 2 votes, Nick Newman, with his balls hanging out.
How funny was that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, his balls, his shorts were down, his leggings.
Can you guys send me a timestamp?
I
please?
missed that. Thank God, Amal. That is concerning.
It can't be as concerning as George's Mike Tyson voice. Come on, boys.
So yeah, he gets my 2 votes. First goal as well, and 3 votes. I believe we can't go past Mr. Jack Silvani. 4 goals, career high, I believe, for him. Just he killed it everywhere, front, back, middle, in the ruck, tackling machine. He was
Are we still
great.
talking about footy or front, back, middle? Something else?
Yeah, fine, whatever you want, we'll talk about. But yeah, Jack Silvani, 3 votes for me. George, what do you
Wait.
think?
Before George goes, you have to do your votes in the Mike Tyson voice, please, George. Thanks.
Absolutely not. I can't put the lisp on for the lisp for that long. 1 vote was actually hard, man. Could have been Cripps, could have been Walsh. I'm going to give it to Charlie Curnow, the 1. So he kicked 3-3. Again, he was rewarded a little bit late with the 2nd and 3rd goals. Love that I think he almost hit the roof with his 3rd goal right in front of us. Torped it. 11 marks against Elias squared. Bloke bloke was. I'm just going to keep saying it.
You've said it 4 times. And
I love it.
Jerry.
I absolutely love it.
You just found out now, have you? It's just,
Jerry.
I probably said it 5 times at the game.
I
mate.
know. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? His name's not squared.
That's fantastic. Oh, brilliant.
Oh, shit.
So, 11 marks, sacrificed his game, man. So Harry went down, and this guy just said, "Nah, I'm not the. Well, I'm going to be the focal point. The lead's going to go to me, but I'm going to bring the forwards in to the game that are around me. So, and kicking 3 goals, right? So that's, I think, bang on his season average, because he's 17 games played, 51. So literally bang on 3 goals a game. He gets my 1. Nick Newman, man. Nick Newman, definitely 2 votes. I love the fact that between him and Saad, they did not give Sam Pepper an inch. He's some of the poise he had where he just stops. He doesn't just put it on the left foot. He sort of stops. He pivots. He turns and he finds a target. He done that in the forward 50 once, and he done it a couple of times where almost like time slowed down when he has the ball. So there was, I loved it. I loved it. So and the goal, man, he deserved it. So 2 votes for me. And yeah, Jack, you can't go past that. Like the since the Hawthorn game, he's sort of been building, and he's just having these games where he's undroppable. I know he's been dropped a couple times this year, obviously. So that led to a lot of talk and flack, and sometimes deserved, because we never really knew like what. He's a utility, but where's his best place in the team? Where's his best position? As a ruck, he might not win you the ruck, but he'll get you the battle and the 1%ers. As a forward, he wasn't impacting the scoreboard as much as you'd have liked. But man, 4 goals, 1, 10 hitouts, 19 touches. Like, he's racking up the ball around the ground, and just worked his ass off again. So remembered his surname and turned it on.
Yeah. And I think Mus brought this up last week. I think this is the beginning of a new discovery as far as the ruck position is concerned. Silvani didn't win the ruck contest against Lysett when he was up there, but what he brought to the ruck contest was his follow-up work, and it got him a goal in the 3rd quarter against Lysett. He didn't win it; he got nowhere near it, but he managed to tackle Lysett after that ruck contest and kick the goal. He slotted it quite comfortably. I think, Mus, you're right. We have discovered something. Maybe we don't need that tall, lumbering ruckman. We need someone who's more agile, and I think that's why the importance in TDK is more prevalent now than it ever has been. And TDK had a great game too.
Huge.
Massive, yeah.
Height isn't everything. Height is important, but I think the agility, that mobility is more and more important now than it ever has been.
Yep.
Just my take. George, who you passing it on to?
Yeah, I'll jump in. It's a good one, actually, because could pick up a mile, because I'm actually going to give my 1 to TDK. Purely based on the fact that we won a stat that we haven't won in, I can't remember the last time we won hitouts. So he's getting my 1 vote purely based on that, purely getting to every contest, getting involved, getting on the ground. He laid so many tackles. So TDK, welcome back. I really hope he's here to stay. I really hope Andy's right and he does sign. So if you are listening, please sign. And
sorry for harassing.
Yeah, and that too. It could have gone to anyone 1 vote, actually. But yeah, TDK, just purely based on that. 2 votes definitely goes to Newman again as well. George, absolutely correct. His poise, his ability. A lot of the play going into the midfield came from Nick Newman. He moved the ball well. He read the ball well. He enabled Saad to run. He enabled McGovern to come from behind, and Kemp. He was on the ground. He did a lot of really good things. So, and kicking a goal. So that was massive. And can't go past Jack, son of Stephen, grandson of Sergio. Take a bow. that was probably the best game that we've seen a Silvani play since '95.
Son of Joe.
Joe.
One day we'll tell that story on this podcast about Joe Silvani. One day.
I
Sorry.
actually have nothing more to add because Jack is getting 3 from everyone today. So outstanding. Outstanding.
Jack in the box.
Is he getting 3 from
Well,
everybody?
you
though?
tell me. You're up, Andy.
Thanks, birthday guy. One, I'm going to give to Jesse Motlop. I think what he was able to do in that second quarter and the pressure he put on around the ground when he didn't have the ball, I think that was awesome. He got dropped a few weeks ago. We all sat around and said he's just not ready for AFL. And we all acknowledged that the potential was there. But I think having a few weeks off really brought out the competitor in him, which is good to see. And yeah, like I said, what he done in the second quarter, he just tore the game out. So yeah, Jesse Motlop 1. Number 2, I'm going to go to Cripps. Again, like these could go to anyone, but Cripps has done his job since that Essendon game, week in, week out. And I think this week he just went up another level. He was doing ruck work. He was putting his body on the line, a lot smothering, like you said, Carl. Like, yeah, he was everywhere, Cripper. If he had kicked that goal where he was running into the 50, I think in the third, when we were on that run, I actually think the roof would have come off Marvel.
That was huge.
Oh,
That was huge.
That would have been mental. Before I go to my 3, the crowd deserves a vote because when Port were having shots on goal, man, I'm telling you, Tony Lockett would have kicked points because we got into their heads.
Well, we got into Ollie Lord's head. That guy's going to have nightmares about that.
Yeah, even Marshall missed, what he normally gets, and the crowd will just loud. Huge. It was so good, man, and it wasn't packed.
It wasn't.
The stadium. I don't know what the crowd was, but it wasn't full.
34,000.
But it sounded like 68.
Oh yeah,
it sounded like 68,000. So well done to the crowd and well done to the cheer squad. The cheer squad's copped a bit of flack this year from certain supporters. But well done to the cheer squad. I think they did really well.
Sorry,
back
Andy.
To the votes.
Sorry, Andy. Speaking of the cheer squad, do you guys have you guys realized that we have Trevor from GTA 5 in our cheer squad?
Do we? I haven't noticed.
I'll see if I can put a photo up. Sorry, side note. I'm gonna add it
to Trevor.
Sorry, Trev.
Trevor barracks for Carlton. I'll show you guys.
Maybe
anyway.
send it in the group chat. In case Trevor sues the Monday Blues.
Man, we ain't got shit.
That or Rockstar Games. Anyway, sorry, Andy, you're third.
No, you're right. Yeah, so my 3, I mean, Jack. I mean, there's nothing left for me to say. Just
fuck, clickbait.
Jack did his thing.
What a clickbait.
Jack in the box.
Yeah.
All right. I'm last, aren't I? Okay. My 1 vote goes to Sam Walsh. 23 disposals. He had 10 score involvements and laid 6 tackles. And again, he's building. He's building and building and building, and he's back and he's taken it up another level once again, similar to what Cripps did. And it was a very hard sort of between Cripps and Walsh. The only difference was that Cripps had 3 shots on goal and missed all of them. And if he had 1 or 2 more goals, then it would have been a different story. If he didn't fucking helicopter in the last one, then, it would have been all right. My 2 votes goes to Nick Newman, and I'll tell you why, right? Because we'll look through his stats. He had 23 disposals. He went at 78% efficiency. He had 9 score involvements and 9 tackles. This is a guy in our defense who has 9 score involvements. That is so bloody impressive. He kicked the goal as well. He kicked the goal. That the stadium erupted then as well when Nick Newman kicked that goal. That I went off. Everyone around us were going off, and everyone around us was just us. It was great. Good little feeling there, just to have that little pocket of the stadium to ourselves. And Jack Silvani gets the 3 votes. What a game. What a game he had. 19 disposals as a forward, who played in the ruck, who played in the back. He was thrown everywhere in the ground, still managed to get 4 goals. He was involved in 11 other scores and laid 4 tackles. Right. That is a game. And if that doesn't earn you a contract, I don't know what does.
Back in the box.
Sign him.
Facts.
Sign him, sign him, sign him. Now, if we do not bring this game style, this pressure next week against the West Coast Eagles, we're in trouble.
Can I just say,
Hey,
yeah,
we're putting the fucking moz on. I'm telling you.
no.
Hey, I'm just scared because I literally said
He
before
called
the
it.
Gold Coast
He
before
called
the
it.
Gold Coast game, I just said we're gonna go on a run and we're gonna get a scalp. We've run 3 and we've beaten Port. That's the scalp, right? And then we're gonna lose to West Coast. So I'm scared after Saturday.
Surely not. Surely not.
You know what?
Nah.
Look, I don't think West Coast is not going to be a walkover. The reason why I say that is they're starting to get some of their star players back. It wasn't a walk in the park for Richmond. That's by no means. It wasn't 100-point belting or anything like that. They won comfortably still, but it was by 38
Richmond
points.
suck.
But I don't think we should go into this game with too much comfort. We still need the wins. You know, our run home is West Coast Eagles next week, Collingwood, and then I think it's Sydney? St Kilda, and then Melbourne, and then it's not an easy run, and we need to win as many as we can. And West Coast is still one of those teams that we need to beat. It's an AFL team nonetheless.
No, we just slept Port Adelaide, man. We just slept Port Adelaide.
I know.
You need to calm down.
All right.
I know.
All right, Moose.
But
Fuck, Brett. Making us paranoid.
Hard, man.
just please.
Let's end it on a good note. This guy's making us. I'm going to go sleep now, all stressing out. Oh, West Coast. Oh.
I just don't want the baggers to get too comfortable with the opponents next week.
Won't happen, bro. Won't happen.
That's all.
We're too switched on.
400 points.
We're too switched
What
on.
I do know,
I just think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to go out there. We're going to do the job. No injuries.
That's the most important thing, I
Go
think.
home.
that's the
You know what I want to see? I want them to bring in Paddy Dow and give Chera a rest. Give Chera a rest and bring in Paddy Dow to do that role. I just want to see what he does because, I don't know, to me, he was a little bit off. I don't know if it was, just trying to adjust to the speed, but I just want to see him get a good go. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one thing that I do know, and this will hopefully G up a lot of the baggers that listen into our podcast. Collingwood, we're coming for you. I hope they're scared. The whole competition should be scared.
Have you noticed on our TikTok, there's one Collingwood flog that comments on all our videos?
Absolutely all of them.
Keep it
I
up.
don't want to say his name. I don't want to give him. I
He
don't want to
doesn't
give him
deserve
any
the
airtime. But you're a bit of a flog. You know who you are. You know who you are.
Collingwood,
Keep watching. Keep commenting.
Collingwood, we're coming for you at the G. I can't wait for that.
Hey, if we beat Collingwood, it's a big ask. But if we beat Collingwood, it's going to go off.
Riot.
It's gonna go
Riot.
off. Oh, mate.
We are
Let's just-
coming for Darcy Moore's Kieran Knightley looking ass, bro. We are coming.
And his headband.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, man.
Oh,
Hey, West Coast, though. 1 week at a time, boys.
one
Yeah,
week at a time.
definitely.
1 week
Don't
at
worry
a
about
time.
Collingwood.
It's all right. You can sleep better now, Carl.
We got the one that we needed. We did it in emphatic fashion, and we move on to next week. 2:10 p.m. Marvel Stadium against the Weagles. Gentlemen, until then, it's been a pleasure. I thoroughly enjoyed this podcast more than most of the others.
Before you go,
Yeah.
shout out to that funny blue, champion bloke. Spent some time with him on the weekend. Came to the game. Thanks for the support of the potty. And looking forward to going to another game again. Sorry, Mum.
Actually, whilst we're on shout-outs, shout-outs to my mum and dad for looking after the kids, and also my brother-in-law and his wife for looking after the kids while I run around like a headless chook trying to get this new setup up and going, man. I think I did everyone's head in today, but thank you. Thank you. Love you guys. Until
Happy birthday, Moose.
and happy birthday, Moose.
Happy birthday
And happy
to
birthday,
you. As long as Carlton keep winning, mate. As long as Carlton keep winning, we're good.
That's all we want. That's all we want.
Love you, Moose.
See, bro.
Gentlemen, we will see you.
And that.
Gentlemen, we will see you Thursday night for
Get a
the
hotel room
game
and that.
preview against the Eagles. Until then, it is sayonara from the Monday Blues. Thanks, gentlemen.
Go on, Carl.
Now.